Hi, my name is Brie, and this is my tutorial on how I got my hair to look like this. Let's go. Okay, so usually I use, this is my shampoo and conditioner. It's the argan oil of Morocco, repair and strengthen, because my hair, unfortunately, I forgot what the product was, but it was drying out my hair because it had alcohol in it. And so if your hair ingredients have any type of alcohol or anything, it can end up really drying out your curls. So I definitely don't recommend that. And then every other wash, since my hair is pretty damaged, I'll use the keratin repair from Tresemme, and then I'll switch and do this every other time I wash. So I wash my hair every other day. So if I wash my hair with this on Monday, I'm going to wash my hair with this on Wednesday. And that is typically my routine. So today I'm using the matching shampoo and conditioner, and I always use this conditioner no matter what. And when I do put conditioner in, I shampoo once and I condition twice. So when I wash my hair, I'll have my conditioner in and I'll run my fingers through it and then de-shed, basically, because my hair sheds a lot. So I do that once, let it sit for like a minute, and then rinse it out, and then repeat, rinse it out. Sometimes I'll use my fingers, sometimes I'll use my comb, sometimes I'll use my brush. It just depends. Usually it's my fingers though, because that's just the easiest. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I typically start my routine before I even get in the shower. So this is my hair all brushed out, not styled or anything. This is pretty much what it looks like, just so it doesn't knot or anything. I try to keep it pretty maintained. Otherwise I have really bad knots and mats, as you could imagine. So yeah, even though I brushed it probably about 5 hours ago, it's matted and tangled. So I always learn to, since it's not that tangled, I started from my roots and I brushed down. I do have hairspray in my hair, but I started from my roots and I brushed down. But typically, to try and not put all that pain and pressure on my scalp and like ripping my hair out, I start from the ends and go like this, and I hold my hair in the middle. And then once there's no knots or anything, I'll go back from the top and I'll brush it out just like that. And I'll separate it and just make sure I got all the little tiny ones, and just make sure those are gone. And then I'll switch to the other side. And now, like I said, I'm starting from the roots today just because I literally just pretty much brushed my hair out like an hour ago. So yeah, but I'm starting at my ends, and I can hear that there's knots in there, so I'm just brushing and brushing. And then I'm gonna go from the top and just make sure I get all those out, because I'm brushing my hair before I get into the shower, because when I run my fingers through my hair, when I get to conditioning, it's a lot easier to do when I run my fingers through it. If I brush it before, even though it'll knot back up in seconds, it's still not as bad. And then when I do condition my hair, I'll just go like this, and then I'll start from the middle of my hair. You know, I'll put it in my hand, go like this, put it in the middle and slide it down and do that. And then I'll go to the roots and comb through and do this. And then I'll go like this and make sure it's getting all in my hair, but I want the majority from my midsection down. You usually typically don't want, you want to put the least amount on your scalp as possible, but I like my hair very soft. So I will like start in the middle, get most of it on my middle and ends, and then I'll comb through and start from the top. So it still gets a little bit, but it's not overbearing for my hair at all. So this is what it looks like before I get into the shower. I'm gonna go ahead and shower, and then I will run through my routine of how I style my hair and what I do after I shower. Okay, and now that I'm all showered, I'm gonna show you what products I use. So I really just use leave-in conditioner. I've used other things at different times. So this is a leave-in conditioner I use for this month. And like I said before, I just switch out my products because my hair gets used to things fast, and I mean fast. So I used to use It's a 10 back in like for most of my life, and I slowly realized I'm like, my pictures used to look so much better when I had my hair dry and all this stuff, and I'm using the same product and I'm doing the same things, and that's because that didn't work for me. So your hair can actually get used to the products that you use, and mine just happened to get used to things. So every month I have a rotation of 3 different brands that I use. First one is Diva Curl, and then obviously I also use It's a 10, and I use the Garnier, which is this one right here. And then I also have different oils that I use sometimes if I'm going out, and like a light mousse that I'll also use if I'm going out. But since it's bedtime, I got my PJs on. This is my basic like everyday routine that I use when I like quickly need to get something done, which is most days I work and I don't have time to use a diffuser and use 100 different products. So this is the one that I use. And yeah, so I'm just going to run through that real fast because it only takes a couple seconds, and that's what I love the most about my hair routine. I have like a short attention span. So being in the bathroom forever when I have to go somewhere just makes me antsy. So yeah, freshly washed curls, and I'm just gonna brush through it, get all the knots out, so again I can run my fingers through it and everything will be just fine. So yeah, I typically brush all my hair back because, as you can see, I have a very harsh middle part. Very harsh. It used to be a lot worse because for basically 10 years I was wearing my hair in a middle part. So every time I do my hair, I slick it all back, and when I put product in, this is also how I put product in, just to try and get rid of it, which it's been working lately, so very happy about that. So typically what I do first is I'll flip all of my hair over, and then I'll run my fingers through it just like this. Just run it through, make sure there's no knots, so this product goes on very nicely. And then I'm just going to go like this with my product, and I'm going to start at my midsection and just pull down, because we want as least as possible to go on our roots. And then I'll go to my roots and I'll go down just like this, and I'll run it through, make sure it gets on all the hair evenly. Okay. And then after I feel good about that, I will just take it and I'll scrunch it, and I'll just scrunch all around while I'm upside down still. And I'll move my head around, like I'll flip my hair to this side, make sure I scrunch all up in my roots so that we don't lose volume. And then I'll flip it to the other side, and I'll do the same thing. And also another thing I noticed when I used to use like gel and a ton of other products, I'll just flip my hair over just like this, and I'll let it just sit naturally. So sometimes I'll do like a comb over, sometimes it'll just sit back, and if I let it dry that way, I get a lot more volume. And then I'm just gonna keep scrunching. But yeah, what I've noticed when I used to put a ton of products on my hair, with my curls specifically, it weighs them down. So I typically like going light with my product. That's why usually it just depends on what I'm doing that day. But I just let my hair air dry, and I use leave-in conditioner, and it works. Obviously if I was going in the heat and I was going to be outside all day today, I would be using oils and I'd be using my mousses and stuff. But just since I'm going to sleep, this is my routine for that. When my hair gets mostly dry but still kind of damp and wet, I will put the bonnet on just to protect my hair extra when I'm sleeping and to really keep the moisture in my hair. But I will be back to show you guys what my hair looks like when it's all dry and done. All right, and now my hair is all dry. So this is what it's looking like. And then I will just put my bonnet on and yeah, all ready for bed. And then when I wake up in the morning, I just take my bonnet off and I have a fresh, soft, moisturized curls. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my super easy routine. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.